Hey everyone, hopefully you're having a good day. My name's Andy. My channel is Finding Value. Today we're going to do our daily technical analysis update of commodities, work our way through the dollar, yields, precious metals, and commodities and ETFs that I follow. If you need any help with anything, check out finding-value.com. That is where we talk about individual companies and how to play this big bull market that's occurring in commodities. All right, guys, let's see what's going on today, and I'll give you my financial opinions. So DXY, here we are, and we're still on top of support. We have not broken down below that support level. This very well still could go higher if the market wants to push it higher. So one of the things that drives this are yields, and we did see yields drop on the longer end, and on the short end, we went up on the short end, the 2-year. So this can go either way. We're still above support. And when looking at this, I would favor it to continue higher until it breaks. 2-year yield, it's hanging in there. We did get a little bit of a bounce. That's what that wick is at the bottom there. But it is right after a massive selling pressure day. So again, this can go either way. We've got downward momentum still, but we did get a little bit of a bounce, and we have to see what this bounce produces. We put a wick at the top and then come back down like this, then we're going to go lower. It really just depends on what type of reaction we get and what yields do. Well, this is yields, which will also have an impact on the dollar. The 10-year yield dropped. It is a gap. So are we going to come back up and fill that gap? Well, there's a lot of gap fillers out there that think every gap needs to get filled, but I'm not in that case. I think you can do whatever. But we do have a topping structure here with all these bearish engulfings. We did get a punch lower, and it's possible to come back up and roll over in yields for the short term. The 30-year did the same thing. The gap lower. We've got bearish engulfing, piercing, and a piercing there, which pushed us lower. And now we want to see what the response is to the upside, if there is any. My guess, weak response, it fills the gap, and it rolls over. That's my guess. TYX-TNX ratio, it did pull back, which means the yield curve inverted, which means the 30-year went down more than the 10-year. So it pulled back down lower. So it's inverting still. Inversion doesn't necessarily mean that it's great for gold, but the longer end did fall to some extent. So they both fell on the 30-year and 10-year. Bond prices going up. We can see the big launch higher to the upside. Is this going to pull back a little bit, fill the gap, and then move on up, which is just inverse of yields? Could be. Let's see what actually happens. It could also just continue higher. It doesn't have to fill that gap. Gold up $5. There isn't much buying and selling pressure in that circle there. Almost as if it's being suppressed to some degree, but nice big move up here. We've come into some kind of a consolidation zone. And we're sitting on top of support. My inclination is that we go higher. Moving on upward. But that doesn't mean it does it immediately. We very well could come back before we head on up. Silver, it's been moving sideways just like gold. Not a lot of buying, selling pressure. We do have a bearish candlestick there. But I think if gold goes on up, I think silver is going to rip it. And again, guys, if you look, we've had big momentum down, and then we kind of consolidated here. We came punched back up, came back down, punched back up, came back down. We're basically losing all the selling pressure out of this thing. I think when this thing rips, it's going to be a doozy. A doozy. Platinum moving sideways, but again, I think we're going higher. We've got our back test basically done today, or close to it. We've broken through the downtrend line. I think we're going to eventually work our way on up. And palladium's still inside of its pattern, doing inside of pattern things. And there it is. Probably coming down to this area here. Maybe we do a false breakdown around just the tip and then move on up. But it's going to take some time here, I think. XCU to gold ratio, gold and silver mining companies outperforming gold, up 0.63%, right on support. We got some work cut out for us for the gold and silver mining companies to break back on up. And what I think is needed, we need higher gold and silver prices, period. Some of these silver companies are struggling because of their costs and where their break evens are and where the price of silver's at. So it makes me think that the physical metals, pretty solid bet if you're below the high cost producers. Pretty solid bet. CRB index up 1.13%. Like I said, we were coming underneath this support zone. Popped higher today. Nice, strong closing. We'll see if we can head on higher. I think that's with crude oil being up today. CRB to S&P heading back down a little bit in the ratio. Commodities were still up. And to me, I think we're going to go. I think we're going to go continue higher. Yes, in the short term, we could pull back a little bit, get these kind of pullback waves or whatever, and then we're going to break. That's my guess. GDX, right at resistance, and we're not really moving much of anywhere. Same with GDXJ and SILJ. We're just kind of moving sideways for the most part. SILJ having to do the most amount of work to get above all these resistance levels. So we need the price of gold and silver to head on higher for these gold and silver miners to, I think, warm up and then heat up. And then break out. Crude oil up 2.6, right at support. Getting that support, and we'll see if we can get a move here. What I'd be interested in seeing is what did XOP and the mutual funds do, and ETFs. Those ETFs responded quite well today. Then I would be more inclined to think that crude oil is going to get a bounce here. TTF gas up 2.5%. Looks like it's trying to figure out where it wants to go. We're sitting on top of support though, which is always a good thing if you're a bull. So we're sitting on top of support. There's your support down there, and I think eventually we will work our way on up. Nat gas in America up a little bit, 0.66%. Still looks good. There's not much selling pressure to push us back down from up here. So when that's the case, and I don't see reversal candlesticks, I favor a move to the upside. Here's your base, your basing pattern, your breakout, your retest, and then you're bullish engulfing to push higher. Now XOP, yeah, you know me, I am bullish on this. What is this? Shoulder, head, shoulder, bear, bullish engulfing. We're going to go for it, boys. Let's do this. Right on the resistance level here. And here we are poised to try to punch through. So let's see if we can punch through here on my boy XOP. Big inverted head and shoulders. We're right there trying to break out. I don't want to get overly bullish. Projected move. I think this was on the good old loggy. Let's go. Oh, wow. Okay, we're on logarithmic now, boys. This is on log. Come on down. It's off the charts, boys. It's off the charts. That's what the projected move is. $800. Could it go there? Yeah, who am I to say that that's not going to be the case? So that's what I'm seeing here. Beautiful pattern about to break. Question is, what are you going to do about it, right? OIH also looking good. Up 3.1%. This turned out to be a basing pattern, much like crude oil. Crude oil went up. Exploration, production, and energy service companies went up. I'm seeing a lot of good developments in those sectors as well for opportunities for investment for the individual companies. So I do think this looks good, and hopefully this momentum continues and crude oil continues to go higher. Sprott Physical Uranium Trust, a little bit of selling pressure. Where is this going to go? You can see that we're contracting on the weeklies here, getting a little bit of a slowdown. Now, is this cause for concern? No. Could this head lower? Yeah, obviously it can. Would this be a good trade here? No, I wouldn't do anything if I was trading. I'd go long on this day here in this bullish engulfing right at the closing, ride it on up, and I'd probably, if I was a short-term trader, close out up here, and that's exactly what people are doing. But on a longer-term perspective, I'm riding this baby higher. Still looks good to go on higher. Momentum's to the upside. URA, which is the ETF, up 1.22. Again, we're just kind of grinding on up, and we'll see if that momentum can continue. Looks good. Momentum's upward. URNM also moving on up. It looks good. A little bit of momentum lost throughout the day today, but it'd be nice if we could punch through here and break this closing price there at 48.71. We're about a little over $1 away, $1.50. It'd be nice if we can punch through because it's a little bit of resistance there. I don't want to knock our head and then come back and roll over. But let's punch through it. And then URNJ also up about 1% today. I'd like to punch through the 25-ish level, high 24s. Punch through that. Momentum's to the upside. Looks good. TAN up 3.66. That's what it looks like. Momentum still to the downside. It's trying to turn. Likes the lower dollar, lower yields. COPX up 2.76%. I actually like a lot of the diversified mining companies when looking at the individual companies, but this looks good. Let's see if we can punch through back through this resistance level that we hit a couple of times. It looks like it's trying to do that with a little wick at the bottom on the weekly candlestick. Lithium looks like it's trying to put in something here. There's no reversal candlestick. This is a reversal here, but it hit resistance, came back. There's no reversal there. Lower yields, lower dollar. It does like that. I got to see a bounce here, guys. I got to see a bounce, and I'm not seeing it yet. REMX up a little bit, 1.6. Not a reversal candlestick. Momentum still to the downside. I got to see a stronger, a higher conviction candlestick maneuver here. Could this be a double bottom? I think we're reaching here, guys. Let's get some more data. S&P 500 ripping it, up 1.9%. It's got some work though. Why? Because you got this resistance, and I'm going to draw it through like this. This is going to be we could go back, we could break through it, do a retest, and then roll back over, which is a possibility. It could even get all the way up here. So we'll see what happens there. But looks good in the short term. Nice strong candlestick today. NASDAQ also another nice strong candlestick. Broke through, back up through that resistance line, and it looks strong. KRE, my boy Kerry. So Kerry is a regional bank. I think that I know this sounds crazy, guys. I think this is a Livermore accumulation cylinder. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. What does that mean? Well, it means this, guys. This is your accumulation cylinder, and that we're at 0.7 here. That we've got a big move coming up for regional banking. That goes against everyone and their mom right now on YouTube and everywhere. We just threw in a bullish engulfing here, which suggests a move higher. How could this happen? Well, if we're in a housing market boom and we haven't entered the expansion phase of real estate yet, which like we just entered it and then we came back and did a retest against its average. If it goes way up and we build a lot of homes with maybe lower interest rates come, I don't know. They'll lend a lot more money, and if rates come down, the losses on those bonds also are not as bad. If rates come down and bond prices go up, so this is looking interesting. Regional banks actually look good here as the downtrend's broken, and we've got a nice big fat breakout candlestick. Emerging markets, like I said, I drew this in yesterday. I said if we get weaker yields in a weaker dollar, we could see this pump higher. Now, how sustainable is it? Is going to be determined by the DXY and yields. And again, DXY hasn't broken down yet, and which means that this hasn't broken out yet either. This could easily come back down, and that could be a retest though. So again, the short term, it's always tough to get this short term. And whenever you look back and it's up here, then that will be obvious that it broke out. So emerging markets, we'll see what happens, and we'll see what yields and dollar do. XHB also popping higher today. These are the home builders index. Some of the home builders look really good. Someone said this is going to be a double top. Maybe, maybe not. Maybe this is far back as we get, and then we rip. Again, short-term stuff. Again, 1, 2, 3. This is a Livermore accumulation cylinder, just like your banking ETF. And that's what I'm talking about, where this could break to the upside. More new lending, and I think yields coming back are going to spark that. Moo up 2.5%. That's pretty good move there. So this is trying to base. We are getting some buying pressure. We'll see if this moves on up. Now, Moo, I don't invest in this ETF. I go into the individual companies. This could be the return move, and this could be all we get out of it. Some of the individual companies in like fertilizers, they're looking pretty good. They're looking pretty good. Copper's starting to get some life into it, up 1%. Come on, baby, let's push. Push through this. If we push through this, I think that home builders, lower yields, copper goes. Diversified miners look like they're ready to break out with copper. We got a lot of really good setups here, guys. I'm getting pretty stinking bullish. If we can break this stuff, oh my God, I'm gonna be ridiculous. Wave 3, here we come. Iron ore still losing a little bit of momentum here. We could see a couple of down days. We'll see if we get a bearish reversal candlestick here, or maybe a couple of really small down days like that. I'm gonna leave that there. We'll see if I'm right or if I'm wrong here. But it looks like we want to potentially turn over there. And a little bit lower. Nickel down 0.62. I don't know what JP Morgan's done with nickel. Look at this. What the heck is that? Again, it's going to go lower until we see a reversal candlesticks. Aluminum down a teeny bit. There we are. Weird looking candlestick here, guys. Down 0.38%. Very weird candlestick. We got support underneath us. Again, I'm in the camp that we still go higher. Baltic Dry Index down. There it is, coming on down. Hit this resistance line. Did not break through it and hold above it. Maybe we'll cycle back around and try to break back through it again. Newcastle coal up 1.2% roughly. And I think it's a good spot to look. Very good spot to look. Natural gas already ripping higher. This is just a matter of time, in my opinion. Bitcoin down 1.6%. That's not a huge selling candlestick. Not a reversal candlestick. Looks okay. Everything intact still. Just be patient. We got good support underneath us there. Well, let me put that through here. There's good support right through here. So we might be attracted back to that line here. It might do one of these. So I'll leave that line there. And we may get a little bit of a selling pressure move. And again, it may not come all the way back to the line. It might just come back a little bit, and we're off, depending on what yields do. Ethereum, again, a little bit larger selling pressure day. We could have a little bit of a pullback in the short term. We've got strong resistance support at this line going across. We may need to do a little bit of kissing on this line before heading higher for Ethereum. So that's what we've got for today, guys. That's all I've got. Thumb up for the content. Subscribe to the channel. Don't forget to do that. Give me the thumb up button. Help me out, guys. But that's all I've got. For the most part, things are looking pretty good, and we'll see if they can continue. I really want to see copper break. Copper, iron ore, I want to see these things just rip. Aluminum gives me a little bit more confidence in the base metals, because I've kind of been wishy-washy. It's like, which way is this thing going to go? Yields kind of coming off. coming back down. If that continues, I think the base metals and everything else will do quite well. I think that the underlying structure of the markets is still strong. So did we just go through a big slowdown from all the increases of the interest rate hikes? Or is there still a slowdown to come? And I know a lot of people say, oh, the rates are, there's a lagged effect. I know some people are worried about the M2 money supply. The one thing I'll say there is GDP was higher. Your M2 money supply times your velocity is GDP. So let me put this in here real quick, guys. So M2SL times, I can't remember what money velocity is. Something M2V. There we go. So as this goes up higher, and I know they released it recently and it was up 4%, your GDP is this equation. So if M2SL times M2V equals GDP, and we recently had a GDP at 3.9%, and we know that the M2 money supply went lower, then that means, so if this is your money supply here, and we know that GDP went up 4%, it means your velocity of money is kicking up. Just straight math. It's that simple. So there is no slowdown yet that we have observed in GDP, and the M2 money supply is being more than offset by velocity of money, because M2 times your velocity equals GDP, and if your M2 went down and your GDP went up, you do the division, that means that your velocity of money increased. So again, things don't look horrible from the perspective of all the stuff that I follow on the real estate side. All right, guys, that's all I've got. We'll catch you later. This is Finding Value.